Welcome to Sex and the Solo Girl. Join your host, her inner circle, and expert guests weekly for chats about dating, secure attachment, the solo lifestyle, doing relationships differently, and of course, sex. And here's your host, Janice Formicella.
Welcome back to Dating Q&A with Brian and Janice. I'm so glad that we're doing this. Brian and I used to co-facilitate a Clubhouse group where we would answer questions from our audiences and live questions from people who were in our group. For those who remember Clubhouse, I mean, wow, talk about a climb to the top and then crash and burn situation with that app. But now we're doing them live on the air. If you have a dating question or quandary, please just go to Instagram and send it to me there in a DM. It's Janice Formicella. I'll answer every single DM I get. We'll answer them on the show. We are here to help. And if you would like to help me, I've got some really cool things happening on my Patreon, which is a little new. So I'd appreciate your support. It's again, Janice Formicella, but I'll link to it in the show notes. Brian, hello.
Hello. Back
Brian
again.
is a dating coach, and you can learn all about what he does, read some great blog posts, perhaps get some support at briancdunn.com.
Yes.
Okay, please go and check it out. He is wise, as you are about to see. Brian, I'll read the first question.
Okay.
First question. Has anyone else in the dating game noticed that you repeat patterns of behavior or keep attracting the same patterns of behavior? Ooh, this is going to be a juicy one. Mine is that I am attracting men who seem to be very anxiously attached and desperate, to the level where within a month, they want an exclusive relationship and want me to guarantee them my time, dedication, devotion, etc. And in my opinion, we just met and have so much to do in order to get to know each other. I'm struggling to find someone who truly wants to move slowly and vet out each person they date, as opposed to going off of those warm, fuzzy feelings and diving head first. In my experience, that is just the head rush you get when you first crush on someone, and not at all indicative of your compatibility. In my opinion, I'd like to date someone for 6 months before moving into a committed relationship. And I want to be best friends with this person because seriously, I am like, preach, girl. But Brian, I'll hand it over to you. I would really like the male perspective on this question for sure.
Yes, I think maybe we might have a little bit of a differing perspective on this. Okay. I understood like the main gist of it, and then it got to the last sentence. I want to date someone for 6 months before moving into a committed relationship. So that is very outside the normal norm.
I did want to speak to that aspect of it as well.
And I think that this person is diagnosing everyone she meets as anxiously attached when she may be very clearly avoidantly attached. She doesn't want to commit until 6 months. And so if I was working with her as a coach, I would dig into, okay, what is the hesitation by like this arbitrary milestone of 6 months before you feel comfortable. There's a difference between like 1 month, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 dates, like 1 date a week max, versus 1 month in where you've gone on 2 dates the first week, 3 dates the second week, maybe a weekend trip on the third week. So there are different ways to spend time together, and the amounts, like the quality over quantity, and there's the amount of time within like the window of time. So again, if it's only like 1 date a week max in a month, that's one thing. But if you're spending more time together, I think 1 month can feel like 2 or 3 months. So I think there's the balance of what do you need to feel comfortable? Why aren't you feeling comfortable? And how do you get to a place of how you're able to communicate what you need in order to be exclusive? Because if you say, if your goal actually is to be in a committed relationship, possibly moving towards marriage. What are the stumbling blocks preventing you from getting there? And it sounds like this person is, every person I meet wants to be exclusive in a month or 2 months or whatever. And I need 6 months to feel comfortable. How long has this person been doing this cycle of all of these relationships, but they're not ready and they don't know how to communicate what they need? And so they keep starting over. I'll pass it over to you
Yeah. So first of all, thank you. I will say maybe this person, yes, doesn't even really want a relationship. You want to meet people. There's nothing wrong with casual dating. I don't want to get too far into casual dating and how to do that. But I will say I completely agree with you that 6 months before moving into a committed relationship is absolutely not the norm. And I do think that you will find that challenging if you possibly have this type of fear of intimacy that maybe you do want to look at why are you actually dating and to think about this 6 month thing, because I don't think that that's probably going to work for you. But what I will say is I really do like what she was saying about the warm fuzzies and compatibility versus chemistry. So I guess I do applaud and encourage the slower dating approach. So yes, maybe spreading things out so that it's one time a week for the first month or two and seeing if you can learn about the compatibility, because 100% a lot of people get into relationships because it feels so good and because the attraction is so high. And so I think that aspect of this question is very mature, very astute for sure. I would say a lot of people don't even consider the difference between chemistry and compatibility. And so that is where I was really like, preach, because this is very evolved, in my opinion. I'm just going to use that word. I don't care what people think. And then I will also say, I have to guess with a lot of these questions that people are meeting online. And if this is the case with this person, you've got to use the app to vet people. And I mean, looking very, very seriously at your own profile, looking very seriously at theirs, having some conversations before you meet in person about why you are each on there and expectations. You don't need to get to the point of meeting and feeling this frustrated necessarily. So be a little more intentional, I would say.
Reading this question, it seemed like potentially she may have been burned by her own feelings in the past, where she went for the warm and fuzzy feelings and then it didn't work out. And so she's trying to protect herself from that quote unquote mistake again. I normally take the approach of, what are you doing now? And what can you change to not keep repeating the same pattern? So if somebody is jumping into a relationship too quickly, the opposite would be to take it slower. If somebody keeps having short relationships because they want to take longer and nobody is compatible with that, I'd say give it a chance. Give it something quicker a chance. Give that a try, because it's not like we agree to only date each other. We're exclusive. It's not like you're married to the person and you can't get out. You can still, a week later or 2 weeks later, a month later, say, you know what, this isn't working. That's not the conversation and kind of the act of saying, okay, we are in a relationship, and it can even be in stages. We're exclusive, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, we're in a committed relationship. I think there's a lot of weight this person is putting on a committed relationship versus let's agree to not date each other and give this a chance. We can still take it slow, but I just want to have some sort of guarantee that you're not seeing me on Saturday and then you're seeing someone else on Sunday, and we've been together for 4 months, getting to know each other. I'm investing, you're investing, but I want to know that there's something. So I think can be a middle ground in terms of terminology, kind of the label you put on it. So we don't have to be
good thing or good. Props to these guys who are being so upfront with you. I mean, I like that. Brian had an experience he's talked about a lot on the show where before he had sex with someone, they had said, for me, I like to have sex with one person at a time. I like to be sexually engaged with one person at a time. And she was very forthcoming with you, which you did end up agreeing to. And I've always liked that story because I think that she, could have gone either way, but also it's reasonable. I don't know that that's how I feel about things. And also, I just want to say I hate clinginess in a man. And that's one reason I like being non-monogamous, is because I have experienced that less, I'm just going to say. But I mean, they're having the conversations with you, which is good. And yeah, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
But I like what you're saying about putting a lot of weight on certain things that maybe she doesn't need to be.
Yeah. That example you brought up, it was near the end, wasn't necessarily the end, but kind of late in the night on that first date. Things are getting hot and heavy. She said she wasn't comfortable sleeping with somebody if they were still dating other people or whatever. And I wasn't comfortable saying, okay, at the end of this first date, we're going to be in kind of an exclusive arrangement. So we did not have sex. She set her boundary. I accepted that. And then we continued to date each other. And then later on, we became exclusive. But that was a conversation we had. And I think it comes down to, like, she didn't say, I don't have sex with somebody unless they're my boyfriend. It was the context around only with one person who's not.
Which, like I said, I don't think that's my approach, but I love that she brought it up. And also to this person's question, when she brought it up the first time, you did say that you wanted to keep seeing her, but you weren't going to commit to that. And so why, this person can do the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's different ways to approach, and that's why I think it's important to try something different. Yeah. There's one dating coach / matchmaker I really like. She has kind of a 12-date rule, and the dates can be 20-minute or more phone calls, but at least a certain number of dates need to be in person to give enough time before you have sex, because sex brings in a lot of hormones and feel-good chemicals that bond you together and engage these kind of warm and fuzzy feelings that the commenter is talking about. So to get past that, to make sure there is enough consistency, compatibility between the two people, you forego sex at least until you've spent enough time getting to know each other before you are comfortable in engaging. I think that can work for a lot of people.
And also maybe saying, I do want to have sex, but I don't want to be committed. I mean, there's lots of approaches. Yeah. I mean, that's how I would feel.
Yeah. So I think trying something different, not saying it's everyone else is wrong. Yeah. I think it takes some self-reflection, because you can't change other people. You can only change yourself and your own approach, and ask yourself, what can I do differently to change how things are going? And so I think that's the best place to start, because even if you think everybody else is crappy, what can you do differently to get different outcomes?
Totally. I would love to work with this person. And yeah, if anyone wants one-on-one dating support, hit Brian up or myself, because I actually have now 60-40 dating clients who have worked with me and gotten over their breakup, and now I'm helping with the dating. It's so much fun. Thank you. All right, let's go on to our second question. Brian, we've got a pretty good question to end today with. Right. I've got a lot to say about this. Would you like to read it for us?
Yeah. All right. I got friend zoned by someone I really saw something with, and I'm still hurting even though I handled it right. So I, 30-year-old male, met someone a few weeks ago. At first, I wasn't even sure if I was going to talk to her. She seemed withdrawn, a little guarded, but something about her pulled me in, and I went for it. We clicked fast, deep conversations, moments of presence, real energy, nothing surface level. From the beginning, I was honest about my interests. No games. I told her I liked being around her, that it felt real and easy. I flirted a little, reflected things I noticed about her, teased her in ways that felt aligned with who I am. It all came from a place of grounded confidence, not desperation. Eventually, I asked her out on a proper one-on-one date, and she said no. Not a soft maybe, not a confused, I'm not sure, but a clear, I don't feel that way about you. I value our connection, but I'm in a different phase of life, more chaotic, more casual. You're amazing, but I don't think this is it. I handled it well. I told her I appreciated the honesty, that I wasn't here to convince her or chase her. I made it clear I only want things that are mutual. I stayed warm, but I pulled my energy back. She still wants to be friends, still wants deep conversations, still reaches out now and then, but I've shifted. I'm kind, not emotionally invested, friendly, not flirty. And yet I'm hurting more than expected. Not because I was rejected, I can live with a no, but because I really saw something here, because I showed up fully without playing it cool or pretending not to care, because I thought for once maybe someone would meet me at the level I bring. She didn't. Now I'm stuck in this quiet grief for what could have been and for the version of me that had hope. I've been through breakups, I've had bigger rejections, but this one feels personal. Like I got passed up, not because I wasn't enough, but because I was too real for someone still avoiding real things. I'm not trying to win her back. I've let it go with grace, but damn, it still stings hard. If anyone's in this space where you do everything right in clarity and confidence and still get a no, I'd love to hear how you move through it.
I mean, my blood is boiling a little. I don't even know where to start. I wish I would take notes because there's a lot to say here. Okay, first of all, the word friend zoned, I would put that out. Everybody put that out of their vocabulary. And just in a nutshell, we don't owe you anything. Okay, as females and men who might want to date us or be with us physically, we don't owe that to you. If we decide we want to be friends, we're not friend zoning you. This is not something we are doing to you. We are being friends with you. And so I find that term really, really offensive. And in fact, I've done some content around that. And so I would say, yeah, put that word out of your vocabulary. And I would say this is the perfect example of a woman who did not do anything wrong by you. She was upfront with you from the beginning. You guys had a real genuine friendship, and I would say shame on you for, building resentment and going through this grieving phase because she decided that the friendship was valuable to her. She still gets in touch with you. She still wants deep conversations. And for you to put this negative spin on it because she doesn't want to date you or be with you, I would say like the problem is on you. I felt like really offended by some of this. And I will definitely say before I pass it to Brian, this made me so mad. The question says, I've had bigger rejections, but this one feels personal. First of all, she didn't reject you. She just didn't want the type of relationship you did. I don't see where the rejection is coming in. That made me upset. Like I got passed up, not because I wasn't enough, but because I was too real for someone still avoiding real things. Again, how dare you? She just didn't want what you wanted. Where in here is there proof that she didn't want something real? I will just leave it at that. To put that label on her experience and act like there's some sort of default in her because she wanted to keep things as a friendship where they already were, that's awful. And I hope that if she knew that you felt this way, that she wouldn't want to be friends with you anymore. And I'm done for now.
I think this kind of goes back to some of the other questions we've covered where is it okay to date around? Is it okay to not want a relationship? Some people just aren't meant for relationships or meant for relationships at this time in their life. And so I did get a lot of the entitlement attitude coming from this guy. I did everything right. So why didn't I get the prize that I was promised because I did everything right?
Beautiful way to phrase it.
I understand the grief of I tried, I put myself out there, it didn't work out. That's kind of a personal thing you have to deal with, but also recognize that you did everything right. She just wasn't for you. So you keep doing everything right and putting yourself out there and being authentic and genuine. And eventually you will find someone who is a match for you. But again, I agree with you that this came off as entitlement. I should have got what I wanted. And now how do I get past this? Well, it's like you have a good resume and that company wanted an engineer, not a program manager. So now you got to go find a place who wants a program manager. It's like you have to find somebody who's is looking for the same thing as you. It's not personal. And I think reframing, and you talk about this a lot, Janice, reframing the mindset of you did the thing, you put yourself out there, you were authentic, you did everything right. And so eventually that's going to pay off once you find somebody who is compatible. And you shouldn't want to be with somebody who says yes to you even though they don't want what you want because they feel bad about saying no to you or about rejecting you, or this is a nice guy, I'll say yes even though I'm not really looking for a relationship right now. And he said it was, I'm in a different phase of life, more chaotic, more casual. I had a friend who was dating someone, and she was is poly, and he really liked her. And so it took him a little bit to be able to let go because he wasn't necessarily poly or comfortable with that. So he really liked her, and he was dealing with the back and forth of, I like her so much, I want to spend time with her, but long term, this relationship can't work out. So you can still be really great, really amazing person and really have really good connection, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's compatible long term or even short term with everybody. It's not like a hit the check boxes and then, well, you unlock the prize.
Yeah, thank you. I think we've probably said enough about this. I hope that people can hear the passion of both our voices about this type of attitude. I think just one last thing I'll say is everybody go back, because the last Q&A that we did, we talked about the potential safety that some women feel becoming friends with married men. And I spoke to my experience in that it is really hard to find single men who just want to be your friend, and you are often second guessing things. And it is true that a lot of men don't just want to be friends, and it's really frustrating. I mean, I feel bad for this woman. She thought she had, met a great friend, and then he just bounces on her because she doesn't want to go on a date. Like, poor her. And that's, and that's the frustration that a lot of us feel, because maybe this was meaningful to her, but no, he just wanted to go out with her. And now he's all butthurt because she actually genuinely wanted to be friends. I'm just going to stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Brian, this was a great edition of Dating Q&A with Brian and Janice. Everyone, once again, also, what did you think of our responses to these questions? What did you think of the questions themselves? Would you like to add something? Would you like to ask a follow-up question? Let us know. I can't wait till we get to the point where we only have listener questions. I think the easiest way to communicate with me directly is go to Instagram, Janice Formicella. Everything's in the show notes. I respond to every DM that I get. Let us know how we can help. Go to janiceformicella.com if you want to learn about my work. Go to Brian C. Dunn if you want to learn about his work. And keep your eyes on this space, because we are recording these regularly, and we'll come back with another edition of Dating Q&A with Brian and Janice soon.
And
Bye,
we
Brian.
love answering these dating questions, relationship questions, sex questions. So give us what you got.
Yes, this is really fun. Both of us are smiling, and I'm feeling really revved up for the rest of the day. So thank you. See everyone soon.
Thank you for listening to Sex and the Solo Girl with Janice Formicella, the podcast for those who want to add more flavor to their relationships with themselves and others. If you liked today's episode, make sure to head over to Instagram and let her know. See you next week.